The St. Lucia Labour Party.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another wonderful Wednesday afternoon to you, everyone. Thank you so very much for staying with and tuning in The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside my co-host, Terry Fenelon, who's back with us again today. and our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. It is the 9th day of the month of July 2025. Our program, as you know, airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on the radio station Real FM, serving you on two frequencies, 91.3 for the north and 91.5 megahertz for the south. Simulcasting on NBC Television, channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We are on Facebook Live, YouTube Live streaming as well. Hope you're having a good day so far. I am. It is a beautiful day, and I can't find anything to speak ill of it. Bright and sunny, yet not too hot, with a little breeze cropping up in between. However, don't be lulled into any sense of complacency. We are very much in the hurricane season, and we're hearing about things that are happening elsewhere, including in the mighty United States. Don't know if it's tropical weather related, but coming in Texas, that's towards the southern part of the U.S., the part that touches the Caribbean Sea, and that touches our region, so to speak. And so seeing what hurricanes and storms have done to the U.S. over the years with increasing frequency, we tell ourselves that if we're smack dab in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, where the activity is generated and where it really thrusts itself and hurls itself forward, what might happen to us small, very vulnerable islands. You know, I'm going to give most of the program today to Terry Fenelon, but as always, I've told him some days he has to come and do the program by himself, because once I come in, you know, temptation, and Terry himself doesn't let me off. I'll try to stay quiet, not him. He'll poke me and say, "What do you think, Shelton? What do you say, Shelton?" And then before you know it, I'm off again. He'll learn, you know. He can't happen listen and say, "Just like me." Tell him already, Terry, you know, I'll stay outside of the studio. So if you need anything, you can just call me in quickly. But, you know, you gotta do the program by yourself. He hasn't turned that down, but I can see by his expression, or they call that his countenance, he doesn't look too eager about that. I got a call, was it yesterday, from someone who's very involved in the organization of local/national festivals and cultural events. And the person told me, "Shelton, I'm hoping one of these days you will agree to have a program, or at least to start a conversation on the subject of cyberbullying. You know, of people who are really taking people apart and gaslighting them and you know, really traumatizing them in the virtual world of the internet and social media." I think we know. And the individual referenced two things. The first one they referenced was the recent Carnival Queen pageants, that people were not in agreement with the placements and the recognition and so on given to contestants, and they went about making memes of them, you know, ridiculing them and doing all sorts of things, essentially to embarrass and to shame them and make them even afraid maybe to show their faces. The cyber world can be merciless. It can be absolutely devastating if you're not the type of person who knows how to just let those things slide off your back like water, they say, off a duck's back and so on. I know how it can be. So on that one, I'm very sympathetic. If I could do anything or say anything to dissuade people from doing it, it has happened to me too. There are people who try to use my size and my obesity and my this and my that against me and so on. But I always let it go, because these are people whose minds are damaged themselves. You know, when I inquired into one of them, you find out it's been a life of very dissolute living and perhaps abuse, you know, from very young as a child. So, you know, their own minds are poisoned and damaged, and they have aberrant personalities about them. So I didn't bother about. Many times the way people are towards us, it leaves us very distraught, it intimidates us, it makes us afraid and so on. It really is a reflection of who they are, and that's the only way they can cope with themselves. That's the only way they can live with themselves. But of course, most people who are going through it, they don't really know or understand what it is that is happening. The wicked person is often a reflection of not just his own wickedness, but the wickedness that he or she has absorbed, has soaked in from other people and so on. But not everyone will take the time to try to be psychologists and counselor and psychiatrist when somebody's trying to hurt you. Somebody's coming at you with a knife. It ain't you thinking about he must have witnessed domestic violence. That's the way. It's your life you're thinking of preserving. And that's the immediate thing before you in this case of clear and present danger. But the second reference that the individual brought was, he said, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos that have been circulating about, men engaged in homosexual activity. Now, I'm thankful, thank God, thank everyone who hardly ever, if ever, thinks of sending them to me. I hear people talking about those things. Almost never do they show up in my feed, my Facebook or WhatsApp or anything. They don't show up. I don't know if it's because of the people that I'm linked to and so on, or people know me generally. They don't send those things. But lately, I've been hearing this talk about. I don't know if it's one case or more than one case of men who were filmed. Nowadays people can film you doing anything anyway. Our favorite word for that is bullying, of course. I said no, I hadn't seen it. One person offered to send it to me. I said no, I'm not interested. Don't bother with that. So and the individual said, about people using those things to sharing it left, right, and center. I said the individuals who were involved in that, what were they? And the person told me they were on the beach. I said, you mean on the beach in the open, like on VG Beach or something? The person said yes. I said, but you see, while I'm sympathetic and I would not participate in or encourage people to engage in cyberbullying, but in these people who are now the alleged victims of it, didn't they set themselves up for it? I mean, you're engaging, it doesn't matter whether it's bullying or whether it's a heterosexual behavior of man and woman and so on. What are you doing having sex or sexual, encounter, as we say, making out, in the open, in a public place on the beach where somebody can film you? It's a different matter where if somebody films you in your vehicle and so on. I think there's precedent in the law for that, where long ago, police arrested two men in a vehicle very, very long ago, more than 40 years, I'm sure, on VG Beach and so on, near the beach facilities area and so on, and they seem to have been engaged in homosexual activity and charged them. And when the case appeared before the magistrate, I can't remember who it was, whether it was Horace Mitchell or whoever it was, Donald McIntyre, I can't remember the name. And the thing that the magistrate said at the time, which I remember, and I've tried to retrieve that case, but I don't think there was electronic filing, is that the law has no business in the bedroom of the nation, And so what consenting adults do in the privacy, and the magistrate was likening the person's vehicle as being the equivalent of a bedroom, You go inside there, you open the person's vehicle or whatever and so on, and they were not engaging in anything that can be considered to be public indecency. You forced your way in or badged your way or forced them to open the car, and then you want to charge them, and the case was thrown out. Now, likewise, if it's a case where even if people were in their vehicle, whatever it is, but on a beach, in the open place, so I didn't buy that one about the cyberbullying. You are setting yourself up for exposure, for people to be doing things. You cannot expect privacy or any kind of respect if you choose to engage. And in any case, even without anybody filming you, I think we have laws here for indecent exposure and public indecency and things of that kind. I believe we do. So on that score, I would say, let people be a little more discreet and a little more self-respecting. Which, when I thought about it, it brought me to the matter, discrimination against people who are homosexual and who do not conform to what we consider to be the norm. It brought my mind to a gender imbalance in our elective and representational politics. When it comes to people who stand for election, people who run, as we say, when it comes to people who win and people who find themselves in the House of Assembly, the elected house of our parliament and so on, there is no question that it is and has for a long time been overwhelmingly dominated by men. I mean, right now in the House of Assembly of St. Lucia, there are only two elected women members of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot and Honorable Emma Hippolyte. And there's seldom ever been more than two at any time. There was a time it was Sarah Flood Bobre and Menissa Rambali. Seldom have you find Alvina Reynolds and maybe, if there was anybody else female in her time and so on. So, but despite this, I believe Prime Minister Philip JP, I'm not speaking for him, I don't know, that's why, he has tried in some way to redress the gender imbalance by compensating for it, I think, in the Senate. I mean, let's just look at the composition of the Senate. The President, who is, again, Honorable Alvina Reynolds. We have only one on the government side, only one male member, the leader of government business, Mr. Gibeon Ferdinand. Apart from that, the people that we have, Honorable Dr. Pauline Antoine Prosper, the parliamentary secretary like We have Honorable Ms. Lisa Jawahi, we have Dr. Alison Jean, and Ms. Kejiana Toussaint-Chaldry. So you have about, four women and one man. Now, if you were to count the Senate President as being, the baby of the government, the one the government is responsible for. So you have 5 women. On the opposition side, ordinarily, I think there would be one woman, Dr. Fira, Polius, and so on. So it's kind of redressed. But where the representational side, the side that goes up for election, the side under hustings, it's overwhelmingly men. And so whether there's an effort ongoing to try to have more women is laudable if it is in fact happening, and if it in fact turns out to be, is a commendable thing. We cannot keep, but I want to sound a note of caution, which I think everybody will agree with me. You can't just go and put women just for the sake of putting women. A political party is a competitive entity. It is one that is geared towards, when the time comes, to try to win an election. And so nobody can expect a political party, UWP or SLP, to just put women for the sake of putting women. You want to put women who are interested, who are themselves motivated, who are committed, who have self-belief, who have self-respect, who connect with people, and who offer a viable prospect of winning an election and so on, that they're prepared to go out there. Redressing the gender imbalance should not be about affirmative action, that you just put women there just for the sake of putting women. You put them there because, yes, you want to show respect and regard for women in a representational context, but you also want them to know that they have to fight and work for it just like everybody else. They have to win it and so on. So I'm looking at this election as one where we may not achieve total parity. I don't think at this stage anybody is thinking about that, but we continue to work towards redressing the gender imbalance, making it inviting, encouraging more women to step forward to take part in the election process and in the representation in the Parliament of St. Lucia. Very quickly, before I turn over to Terry, I was down in Grand Riviere Dennery last night, as was Terry. Getting parking was difficult. The little place where you have to park on the side of the road, very narrow, a lot of people there. In fact, Dr. Robert Lewis, I was just mentioning to Terry that I saw you and your wife, my former schoolmate, Brenda. You all were coming into the compound of the building, and where I tried to fit myself, I was obstructing you. It was difficult for you to pass on one side and not be in the road, pass on the other side, squeeze yourself between my vehicle and the perimeter wall. And I saw a little look. At first, I thought you were waving me. Maybe you spotted it was me in the vehicle, but it seemed like it was a wave of irritation, like, man, come on. You can't be serious parking there. So my apologies to you, Dr. Lewis. Eventually, I decided that inside was so packed that it was better if I stayed in the vehicle and followed on YouTube, which I did. So I didn't miss anything, but I wasn't able to make my way into the building. I'm a guy, I take up a little more space, than your average person. And so I thought for me to come in there, I would have to give about 3 people a call out and tell them, to go outside, and how that would end for me. But when I looked at what happened in Dennery North, and I think it wasn't too long ago, I was the guest speaker at the annual conference of Dennery North. And some time ago, I gave you a little bit of history about Soufrière, about how Soufrière was flipping back and forth between SLP, UWP, until the SLP took it with Walter François in 1997, and it stayed with Labour for 4 straight terms. And after that, it was lost. In 2016, Harold Dalson lost to Herod. Herod held it for 1 term, and now Emma Hippolyte has it for the other term. Let us look to see whether Soufrière will again stay with Labour for several terms. But I'm telling you, when I look at one constituency, I have no doubt that this is exactly what it is doing. Yes, the Labour Party, I think, has matched Ferdinand Henry, holding it for 2 terms with Anthony Torrance between 1992 and 2001. That would be 3 terms, wouldn't it? That Torrance would have won. 1992, he won it in 1997. And no, he lost it in 2001 to Marcus Nicholas. So 2 terms he held it. Marcus Nicholas held it for himself for 2 terms, really and speaking. So it stayed for 2 terms with Tony Torrance, 2 terms with Marcus Nicholas, and then Sean has come in, and this is his 3rd term. And by all indications, what Soufrière did after 1997, Sean Edward is going to do from 2011 when he first won it, that he is going to hold it for at least 4 terms. Maybe more than that. But I don't see any sign that this man, Sean again, that there's any sign or much chance that that seat can be taken from him. And last night, his repetitive refrain was "Pies tibai pakati wemwe," and then enough. Yeah, he said that, and he means it. And I think the people, you talk to people from different constituencies, and some shake their head and say, "Brother, I working hard, but I'm not sure, about so and so seat if we'll be able to hold it or if we'll be able to take it." Not Denry North. Not Denry North. You don't hear that coming from Flambeaus. They seem to keep very quiet about it but Labour people always gung-ho, super confident that it will be Sean again for a 4th term in Denry North. And another place where I have this good feeling that Labour had never taken it before 2021, but it is going to be with Labour for a while, given the personality, given the nature, given who we are seeing in Jeremiah Norbert, that 2021 may have been the start of not just an historic change, but the start of a very long-lasting one. Exactly. And the similar fortunes to Soufrière post-1997 that we will begin to see the beginning of that in Denry North. Terry, over to you.
Shelton, let me apologize to to all the viewers, listeners. Yesterday, Shelton, man, as I told you, body was a bad blow. And adding insult to injury, vehicle will not start.
Now, what is that kind of vehicle that once you're not feeling well,
I'm not feeling well too.
vehicle not feeling well too?
I had my grandson in there. Yes. He had just shifted, from his father's vehicle, and the vehicle would not start, man. When I had to put him back, man started the ball. Because the man wanted to be a bumper. But I had a nice long rest, and then the body apparently recharged itself. And I made it to Denry North yesterday. And Shelton, like you, when I came in there, man, I looked at the hall, it was still kind of early.
Yes.
It was jam-packed. So I knew Terence Fenelon, you're not good inside of there. So I got a nice packing, took my beach chair, and I anchored myself outside, directly opposite the entrance.
Right.
And like you see great minds. Either we are great minds or we are fools. Took out my phone, Shelton, went on Facebook and followed the live. So I followed everything. I met a lot of nice people too. To all of you who spoke to me, gave me encouragement, and so on. Let me know that you are listening. We don't see you on the live, we don't see you on thing, but you are listening on the radio, etc. That was wonderful. That was touching and stuff. So, it is a great day. Now, you know me already, Shelton. Soufrière has always been my the Soufrière tongue, because we just have Emma say Mounouin. There's only one town hall I did not really enjoy, but all of them. But last night was another town hall, man. And Shelton, what has struck me, it's a Tuesday, It's a working day. People are at work. They have to leave work and the turnout, the vibe. And that's very good. Our platform is one of substance, not of mépris, not of power jeté, but of substance. And I really commend. And Jaquan, we have quite a few videos there, but the one that Shelton referred to, where he says, "Pies the boy," I think that's just about 40 seconds. Let's run that because we're coming to the break. And you'll see the crowd. Now, I cannot follow because I deleted in error, Shelton. I don't know how I did that this morning. The stuff I said to. So I cannot even tell you his video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I suspect it's 2. Yes. No. That's the last one I sent you. No, that one will be playing just before we look at the highlights in education. So forgive me there. People, this morning, I suspect the Saharan dust is still affecting me.
Asking whether it's this
one?
That
one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I cannot even tell him which video because I deleted on my end. Yeah. In error. Let it run, yes.
Permit me to acknowledge the presence of the political building. We look for that. PSBY, PSBY, Analysa.
Stibai, parti moi là.
Avalisa.
Avalisa. Te medo. No, me do hein café, puis me dans le Facebook, matin dedans. Là ça. Tout monde là, jump en l'air. En mardi au soir, vous savez. Mardi c'est travail, mon ka travail le mardi. Moi-même, vous savez toujours bonnet, mais mettez ta, a timiette tita. Yo peut commencer, mais yo dit c'était. Ou já ça bon 6h30 mais là mais pas de main mais c'était qu'à dormir mais maintenant pour SPM ici avec nous là boy moon
look at people
moon avec do sous quoi ça c'est crowd do là les plus moun
so si ça c'est dans Calypso show echo the moon outside c'est pas pièce mauvais because c'est outside qui est
outside qui est moun nous savent garçon. And the vibe is that Shelton, I got the people are ready. They are fed up of the shenanigans of the opposition, and they want to put paid to them once and for all, because all these stunts that they are pulling in desperation and stuff. The nonsense that the supporters are writing. Just out of the blue and ridiculous nonsense. We are working on it. In a while, I'm going to show you Sean's achievement in education. So last night was a wonderful night. You will just play any one of the testimonials because you come to the break and afterwards we go to this. Any one of the testimonials. I think you have about 6 videos. Just put anyone. Yeah, anyone. Play that one. Sean again. Let's before the break.
On pas chez moi autant belle gif comme ça. Ban nous en fait, ban nous l'argent pour un découp. Ban nous sel, ban nous tout barré découp. C'est pour mes femmes ça prospère. C'est un ministre qui garde nous bien ministère agricole. Mais ça complètement prospère avant chez ban nous. Chonnet de ka bakli, ka supporter nous, bon nous plus toujours. C'est si passé comme ça, nous te mon net en fait. On a des pièces tout ça. C'est garder à mon net. Ni hodi o vino ka te belle. C'est fouger puis belle comme ça. Chonnet de prospère. Bon, c'est on va briser pour chier ça witi. M'a bleu sorti. On le dit puis witi, on le chon witi, on le prospère witi. On le tout le tasser comme ça witi en fait là. C'est pas nous support. C'est tout chon sont brillant pour nous toujours. Mon côté chon en chai. Mais mon côté chon be avec des membres même lorsque les gars là ouais chon en gym. Et JP c'est bien qui number 1 nom là toujours. Ma deuxième quoi JP il faut tant bien nous. Et JP a fait bien nous. Et dit que comment c'est fait bien.
Take it easy, I will do the work. Take it easy, Sean will do the work. Take it easy. I mean, hey, garçon, Sean is doing the work. I mean, what's better? The politician can talk, but it's always nicer when the people who are actually feeling the impact of the work of the politician that they can speak on behalf of the politician. That Sean is, and that is the principle of the Labour Party, putting people first. Let's play one more before we take the break. Anyone, just another one, just a testimonial, and we go before the break.
Very satisfied with the amount of representation we have been getting in the area. I mean, he has initiated a lot of projects, a lot of road network projects, and good representation is all about touching lives, and he has done so from the elderly, the students, the young people in the area. He has initiated the water project. Right now we have good pipe-borne water, one of the best source of water in the OECS. It was never forget. When they came in 2016, there was an allocation for the health center, where it was taken away from us and we never got the health center. But since the rep has been coming to office, we have a brand new health center. I mean, no longer our elderly have to take the risk to go to Richmond. The health center is right there, Lauritius. I mean, that is very good representation. And whenever the bell are ringing, whenever the election have all, as you have been hearing it all, look and phone in Marbella Valley. It will be Sean again. Take
it easy, I will do the work. Take it easy. We will do, and that's what we do. We're doing the work in health, etc. The Flabos can say whatever. My friend from Viewfort just sent me. Let me just read that quickly before we break. All right, Shelton? Yes. Comrade, just having a private laugh, as Flabo hardly ever comes out with anything original. Remember 1.5 to stay alive? Now is yellow is the code. That is Trinidad. Mm-hmm. Now is yellow is the code. And when X wins, everyone wins. A la the UNC in Trinidad. Mm-hmm. Here's the clincher. It is inconceivable that Shas can fake an assault like Trump did prior to the US election just to push a narrative that Labour Party is all about violence. When one has time, on one hand, silly thoughts can come to the fore. Nothing original. Yellow is the code. You're bad. Man, let us stick with Philip J. Pierre. He's doing it. I wanted to read an article by Earl Busquino, but I might do that another time, about being the most ready. Because they have some fellas, Tsunami and them, trying to make a mockery of that. But I think Earl Busquino framed that properly and put that in proper context. But not today. I have it lined up, but it doesn't fit in today. But I will read it at some point, and when we're going to be discussing just the Honorable Philip J. Pierre and his deeds. So, Shelton, I think you're powered by what?
Blue Waters.
Blue Waters.
All right, Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. We'll return shortly with the energy of Terry Fenelon carrying us through another segment. Don't go away, because at some point we will be opening the lines for your calls and reading some of the many great messages that you are sending us non-stop.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port. Investing in people.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop, opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters on this Wednesday, the 9th of July, 2025. As I said before the break, soon as we come back, we'll be letting Terry Fenelon get back onto his own track.
All right. So right now, be a little patient. From last night, you heard two testimonials from people in the constituency of Denry North, Sean's constituency. Now we're going to take a look at what has been happening in Sean's ministry. Now, he has a portfolio that I'll be honest, not too open with, sustainable development. I will delve in that maybe at some point, but let's discuss education. But, Shaquan, the last video I sent you, I think video 9 of Sean. So let Sean start. There are 10 commandments, but I have 12. Yeah, so let's play this one. Let Sean start it out, and I will put up a graphic on the screen.
But today, a St. Lucia Labour Party has ensured that we have universal secondary education. So that tout petit maman qui ou sorti en caille Labour, caille flambeau, caille bourgeois, et bien caille malheureux, ou ka aller l'école secondaire. And that is why today we have children from Denny Riviere studying to become doctors. We have children from Olior studying to become engineers. The day of the banana belt phenomenon and that stigma is no more.
That's one. Universal secondary education. The late Sir John Compton gave us universal primary education. I've always said there must be continuity. Sir John, he passed the baton to Dr. Kenny Anthony. And the Labour Party is always big on education. So we took it from Sir John, who laid the groundwork, universal primary education. He did all that he could have done. And Kenny Anthony, with his education minister at the time, Mario Michel, permanent secretary at the time, Dr. Didicus Jules, chief education officer, Fortuna Anthony. And they took it to the next step because it's a relay. It's continuity. And let me just pull up on my phone there. So I make no error there. They took us out. Well, not took us out. Led us from universal primary education to universal secondary education. Because do not forget, people, at one point we had about 5,000 plus, almost 6,000 children right in the common entrance at the time. And there was only space for about half of them, 3,000. So the competition was stiff. And not only that, at the age of 11, 12, we are telling 3,000 children, we have no use for you. You have to fend for yourself. I mean, a nation could not continue to develop when that kind of human resource was basically going to waste. We're telling them, no dice. You can't continue any further. Maybe some of you all went to Standard 6. Some of them in Standard 6 did well, but then by and large, that was a crime. And Kenny Anthony, the Labour Party under Kenny Anthony, Mario Michel, they built secondary schools, Babounou Secondary School, Ciceron Secondary, PI Secondary, Angers, Marigot, and Grosile. I didn't even have Grosile there. Mm-hmm. And then, we had the shift system, RC Boys and Ave Maria. We were on shift for about how many years? More than I can remember. And then they built the Dame Paulette Louise primary school. So we got out of the shift system because we were losing 45 minutes every day in our instructional time. That was a lot. And that was fundamental, revolutionary at the time. Yeah, and the opposition criticized it because that's all they do. They're myopic and they criticize everything. It doesn't matter how good the thing is. So we got universal. And Sean is saying that that is important because right now you have children in the value studying to be engineers, doctors, lawyers, because we made space for them. They were not useless. And now they could follow the path. So let's put up the graphic I sent you, the last one. Let's look at some of the today I deleted things absent-mindedly, I guess. I don't know how, because I usually coordinate so I can tell Joquan exactly what I want. So I'm a little lost at sea there. But put up the graphic and let's look at some of the achievements in education under the Labour Party administration. Yeah, I tried to condense it nicely. It doesn't look good. All right, there are 11. So Sean already told you we have universal secondary education, thanks to the St. Lucia Labour Party under the leadership of Dr. Anthony. And Philip J. Pierre, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, he has taken it further. I'll talk about that now because some of those things there are his. 1 laptop per child. Kigain, Kiasa. There was no gain in that. Imagine a lady who did a PhD in ICT, A lady who did her PhD. Bright lady, brighter than the leader that she had at the time. She knew better. Because that's what her PhD was in, ICT.
Like I have told you, this is the effect that leader has on people who follow him.
They get dumb.
No matter even if they're bright people, they're well-credentialed and so on.
He
has a dumbing down effect on everyone around him.
I cannot understand how Gail Rigobert, a lady who did a PhD in ICT, and stuff, would go on a platform to please her master. And you withdrew the laptops from the children. And then after you have left politics now, you're having seminar in how you call this thing? AI. Mm-hmm. You had to pay about $500 to register,
Yeah.
She was there. You see the hypocrisy of these people? Mm-hmm. And then you want to come and repackage yourself and then we vote for you. You are a hypocrite! I can't say it that's the way I say it. You did your PhD in ICT education. You stood on a platform, you took laptops from the children, and then now when you lost now, you're at sea now, you're having big seminar now because you are big in guru in AI, artificial intelligence, and right up your alley. And you have big conference in St. Lucia you have partnered with this person and that person to talk about the positive effects of AI. You see that? Hypocrites people. And these people, same thing with Stephen Fevrier, a diplomat who knows better. Your boss was a Nigerian, but you are like the house nigger. Sorry, I have to say it. You're reading a script there. People, we must reject these people in total. They are hypocrites. 1 laptop per child. And Dr. Anthony was very perceptive, He saw the future because that's the way we were going. But they took it, we have reinstalled it. 1 university graduate per household. Sean is pushing that greatly. And thanks to the Nigerian government, we'll have more students, more St. Lucians studying at universities, access to higher education. And that's key. Don't knock that. Unipass, now I don't think, have I explained Unipass? I think I have. And I tell you, the Honorable Philip J. Pierre is a saint. You people believe that I'm talking nonsense. Unipass is a mechanism where students who are already enrolled in tertiary education, especially first generation, generation in your household, you run into difficulty. You can access, you write to the ministry, Unipass, and you could get a grant, not a loan, a grant of up to $10,000 to assist you in your studies. You may have to, because sometimes things arise. You go and study and everything is concurrent, you have your loan secured, your family there, but there's a death in the family, something happens and fortune's turn. There is a little buffer. Philip J. Pierre is always thinking about you, There's a buffer. So you could apply and you could get at least assistance up to $10,000 to assist you. Maybe you need a plane ticket to fly home in an emergency, something, whatever. There is that grant. You make your case and you could get that grant. Maybe sometimes you complete your studies or just finish the last payment because you lost your job at the time. Although now everybody is working and unemployment is at its lowest. You understand? But there is a buffer. 4 TVET institutes open. You talk about universal second. Now we are diversifying. That's the next logical step. So we have 4 schools. TVET is at the core. And students are enrolled. And I understood in the last CPEA results, more students, I almost said something like that, you'd have taken me to task, but more students have enrolled. And I enroll, and we want more students, because the way of the world now is TVET, You need engineers, you need plumbers, you need all kinds. It's TVET. TVET, and don't say they are not. They always say that they are not academically inclined. They are academically inclined, but there's a different path. You know how many students have gone to St. Mary's College and they're architects? Brilliant. You understand? So they are academically inclined, and we have made room for 4 schools in PI, Marigot. I'm not calling them by the right name. PI, Marigot, Grand Rivière, Dennery, and where's the other? Oh, Angers. We have them.
Do you know why you forgot Angers?
You forgot Angers?
I said, I know why you forgot Angers,
Tell me why.
Because of the constituency and the person, the person they elected.
Yeah. Actually, I have a story, because my last visit there.
I suspect you inadvertently and unwittingly blanked.
But actually,
I hear we taking it this time.
Yeah, actually, when I went there. No, but I'll not say that. I don't want to put anybody in any difficulty. Okay. But yeah, maybe that's why I blanked them. Teachers, temporary teachers are now getting paid for August. Wonderful. People, you should understand the strain on some people. You have labored in the system, and come July your contract ends, and you have to see for yourself. But you still have bills to pay in August. You still have bills to pay, commitments to meet in August. But Philip J. Pierre and the administration, they have taken care of that on their education. Increased TMA for teachers. And that was done out of the goodness. Nobody held a gun to his head, Nobody forced him. You see, I think the fact that his mother was a teacher, he understood that, and maybe Sean himself was a teacher. Well, he is a teacher, always a teacher.
You didn't hear him last night?
Yes.
He said, listen, when you see I'm teaching, I like people to be quiet.
Yes, he had his lesson. That's his lesson. You know what I mean? Increased TMA. Now, all schools, I see the entry post school, a new wing going up there. Brand new wing, and the other schools taken care of. I remember the Deputy Prime Minister, Ernest, made a statement once while they were in the opposition. He says $2 million under Philip J. Pierre went further than the $10 million that this fella said they spent in schools. And I could tell you, I was there for a little while. 10 million may have been spent, but 10 million was not spent on the structures. Principals now will get assistance. So that was something that the Labour Party under Kenny Anthony did. So principal had assistance. They can type, they can do this, etc. So to make the load a little easier, so principals could have focused on instruction time being instructional leaders. Instead of being everything and doing everything, they were given assistance. That was taken away. Because, don't forget, 2016 to 2021, that was the Matthias years, The domino got Matthias there, badly. You understand? Everything was topsy-turvy, keep going aside. These fellows were just bent on instruction. Like, you can't venir encore pour nous mettre là. Mais de what? Tiebo yo mette pay? Jamais. Payment, now teachers are now getting, oh gosh, on the education. Teachers will now be getting paid for marking SBAs. You know how long teachers have been clamoring for that?
Quite true.
They have been marking, doing the buick work. I'm saying it there. It's buick work that day, Buick work. And not getting paid. CXC collecting all that money. And teachers are doing their work for them for free. This year, hour. Sean and Philip JPS say hour. Teachers have to be paid for that work they're doing. Because that's additional work. You have to get them. And I don't have the exact payout, but it's, well, I was about to say ching ching. Somebody tell me it's not ching ching. Dollars, notes in your pocket. Because you have to be paid. You have to be rewarded for your hard work. What's the next one I have there? Facilities fees being paid. Not for SLP supporters, children of SLP supporters, but for everybody. That's it, some of the achievements. And lastly, 4 CSEC subjects. And I think, was it Miguel who called you some time ago to say he was somewhere? And this gentleman says, well, he has to find 6 subjects. He has to pay 6 subjects.
Yes.
And Buto was saying,
yeah.
And Buto, Buto just came out.
Yeah.
Miguel, he just was a habit. And he was able to tell him, but
you don't have to pay 6. Only
you
2.
Have only 2 because the government is paid 4. 4.
Yes.
And the man was like, oh yes. It's as if, he had his eureka moment there, or, something hit him that day. It hit him. Oh gosh, boy, that is true. So I only have to pay for 2. I mean, come on. What more you want? Chicken and rice and peas and thing? What more? That is some. Now, we're going to open the lines at some point. You people out there, I mean, from your experience last night in Denry to what it is happening in education. Forget these fellas who try to tell us, what they call it, Frederica. And that's all from the platform, Maji alone.
Yeah,
we are showing you Bolom and things. A man writes a speech. Well, you write his sermon, maybe he copied from his father. You write a speech, you sit down there to write a whole speech. And that is what you come and talk about Bolom. I have something very serious to say at the Bolom. But we're giving you our work. We're presenting to you what we are doing, what we have done, and what we are presently doing. It's not woulda, coulda, shoulda, I was going to do that. It's what we are doing. So on education, these are just a few of the achievements. I think there are more, I didn't want to call the minister today because, his constituency day, and I didn't want him to off me. Tell me about feeling don't call me on his day. But these are some of the achievements. These are some of the things we are doing. Oh, I did not even talk about the school feeding program. Started under Sir John. It has been expanded. Because we have to give Sir John his props, Sir John has props. This guy wants to tell you that he is taking over for Sir John. Where? Never. We knew Sir John, and boy, you are not anything close to Sir John. Okay? You took his party and made it aside. I mean, who could do that? You took a man's party and made it aside. And you want to talk about yourself. And fellas like these guys want to come and try to repackage you to do what? You are a failure. I tell you already. Frevry was at Armondale. That's how I pronounce the L. Armondale. And the people had to tell him, a big man like you're so credentialed, you're following Alan Chastney. And what did he say? God said, let's not go there. You are ashamed of your leader. You are ashamed. If he doesn't know that, I'm telling him, that's what you said. Don't go there. Fellas, don't go there. When they ask you, how are you going to support all the things that Pierre is doing? Because if the fellas see that Pierre can manage money, he can manage an economy. He tell you, but your leader, in less than a year, he was on TV saying the country is broke. We have no money, and COVID made it worse. How are you going to spend? And listen to what your response was. Guys, I don't think nothing. We're going to use CIP money. The CIP, you, Rijok, and Martinez wanted to write off. But you want to get your money, you want to get your hands on it. CIP money to pay. It go work. So we tell you what we're doing. These are just some of the achievements on the education. Okay? You heard the testimonies then enough people tell you they're satisfied. The teachers are telling you right now they're feeling that they have backup, they have somebody. You understand? We're not on MIPRI, we're not on that, we're not on Power GT. We're telling you what we are doing. And we are asking y'all, if by some madness, maybe COVID come and eat our brains and we do magic for ourselves, which will not happen. What are you going to do? We know Gail Rigobert was a fake because you wrote your dissertation on technology, information technology and everything, and you're on a stage there because you're so dumb. Well, you're not dumb. Shasni made you dumb. Oh, okay, you took away the children's laptop and everything. You left and then you come back now pushing artificial intelligence, etc. Showing your true colors. But while you're inside there, you were just doing puppy. You're towing the line. But that is sad. Eh? You towed the line. Eh? You proved Richard Frederick right. Richard Frederick said, you all took a vow and an oath to totally submit, to become spineless wonders.
To become bolums.
Bolums! To the point that you'll be on a platform talking nonsense when you know better.
It's only bolum I have from the time it emerged. Once you tell it, Musemetu, it has all your commands.
They tell me about a minister of kidnapping. I don't know about that one. People, I mean, I'm on a high. Last night was a vibe. Sean was there. Sean showed you he's a worker. I just showed you some of the highlights and the achievements in education. And there is more. And that is what the Prime Minister said. There is more to come. More to come. You understand? We're not fake. We're not going to tell you something is bad when it is good. We're not so. If it is good, it is good. I could tell you one thing Alan Shastri did that was very good, He did. Nah, I won't tell you. I told my friends, why they have never said anything about it? It's because they couldn't dip their hands in the funds. And it is so impactful. Sheldon, you want me to share that? Tell them?
Yeah, go ahead.
I ain't telling you all. As an educator, I could tell you, these fellas did something that was fantastic, brilliant, but they could never mention it because I suspect the World Bank, it's still going on, Shelton, because it is not something that they could interfere with. And I tell you, that thing is so impactful, but they don't know it. And when I sat with my friends, in our water and holder, I say, fellas, they were shocked. I say, yeah, that's the only thing that they have done, and it is very impactful. But they have never ever spoken about it because they don't know. And Shelton, that's a shame. You see, had they known, oh man, they would have been. And I would have to say, yes, I agree. Great stuff. But they don't know what they did. Very impactful thing. I'm saying it. But I'm going to tell you, you have to pay me to say that. I'm not giving you any points. But we're telling you what we are doing. We're not telling you what we will do, what we could do. We're not bringing any drawings. How do you call it? Renderings. Impactful things. Facilities fees. Before we go to the break, the Shelton schools don't have fundraising events anymore? They hardly have that. Remember, they used to have barbecues and country and western dances and things?
Yeah, even the police used to have that dance.
Yeah, man, because that was so labor intensive. Yeah. Let me tell you, Shelton, when a school put in on a barbecue, you don't make any profit in that. About 1,000. If you make 2,000, you make a lot. And teachers have families, so you cannot get everybody to volunteer. Some parents come, you have that ice because you have to go there and think. Teachers have to volunteer their vehicles, gas, they ain't getting paid for that and put, and nighttime they come and work and, you put in your hand in that cold water to take out a drink to give people. Shelton, schools went through a lot. Nowadays, you don't hear that. You hardly hear that. Schools don't hold barbecues again and them kind of things. No fundraisers because you see the facilities fees, that has taken care of a lot of things. It has given schools the leeway to do a lot of things because they get a good chunk of change that can sustain them for the year. And that is brilliant. Children can be fed. Children can be fed. Schools can meet the bills. You understand? Those children who cannot afford to go on school tours, etc., allowances can be made for them. You understand? And even if they get the $500 bursary and some of them still cannot afford to pay the little registration for their PE uniforms. The facilities fees help those students. So a child who is poor, SSDF contributes to it a lot. I could tell you that, SSDF, because there's a lot happening in SSDS. They have been sponsoring a lot of children, a lot of stuff. I mean, we could talk about that. That should have been included in the but I think that's under Joachim's ministry, so I'll leave it there. But they assist a lot, in that kind of thing. So children now, when you see them in schools, all of them are properly attired for PE because that kind of facilities fees, it contributes to that. So no child can feel left out and, I don't have my PE uniform, I'm poor, and then, they stick out like a sore thumb. That is erased. That is erased. And, it does something to a child's psyche when, all the other children properly attired and they out there with their old house clothes for PE.
Okay.
That doesn't look good. So, Shelton?
1:30.
Yeah, 1:30.
Real Issues powered by Blue Waters. We take our final commercial break. Remember, we're going until 2 o'clock or when the lotto cuts in. So don't go away because I think Master Terry, when we come back at some point, is going to declare the phone lines open and we'll read some of your messages as well.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port. Investing in people.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell V4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Clans Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, on this Wednesday, July the 9th, 2025. I'm Shelton Daniel alongside Terry Fenelon, and our technical operator, Jaquan, will soon be opening the phone lines, I suspect, but I'll allow Terry to make the call.
Yeah, just a few seconds. I forgot to mention, Shelton, this week, every school, because you know the customary thing, after you close for the week, that week, teachers have to report workshops, and usually schools and teachers have to fund that. This year, Shelton, every school is in session, and it is fully funded by the Ministry of Education. So that burden, of meals, etc., and getting facilitators and so forth, that is being taken care of. So each school has to present the budget, what it is that you want to do for that week, put the cost in, and that was funded by the Ministry of Education. So that is an improvement.
Great
stuff. So when you talk about education and the quality of education, Sean Edwards, big up yourself. We're staying with Labour. Our choice. So we can open the lines now, Sean.
Where Denry North is concerned,
that's right.
It's definitely going to be Sean again. And I'm hearing from Miku North that there's only one N, and it's JN.
That's right, Jeremiah.
All right, do we have a call on the line? I think we do already. Hi, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi, you're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, brothers. Go ahead.
Good afternoon for the two brothers there. Now,
Yes.
I have to apologize. If I don't really bully you and call first, I notice I won't have any time to call.
So early calling is a form of bullying. I didn't know that. That's a new one to
Well,
me.
just give me a chance, Ragasa. Why you so? But let me tell you all something. There's been a question hovering in my mind. Give me a chance. There's been a question hovering in my mind as to why, when the UWP has its charade on Sunday nights on Channel 124, they don't project to show the attendance of the supporters and things like that. There must be reasons behind it.
It's only the people on the platform they show it.
Yeah, I believe we get only applause in the background in response to the lies and the garbage that are being spurred by the speakers on the podium.
And not only that,
I
maybe
think
they have their applause
as we're
choir.
doing now,
Go ahead, bro.
Prospective voters need to be made aware that the UWP, in my mind, has nothing to offer to counter the SLP government led by PJP for the advancement of the interests of the common people.
Yeah, sure.
I think what is important between the two parties when we're making the thing, we must make distinct differences of the advantages that and I believe Salono, I want to applaud him for that, and I want to meet him sometime. I couldn't come to Dennery that night because I came from other places and I had to rest.
Yeah.
The comparison has to be made,
Yeah.
and he's doing it in education. We have to check each of the sectors and make the comparison with respect to the voters need to understand the differences between the two parties and what they are seeking to do to advance. Let me just think of it, my brothers, and I don't think the emphasis is being made enough. I'm sorry to hold up the thing, but for the 5 or more years when the UWP under Alan Chasney was in government, what it is, the question has to be asked, and the people have to be know what it is that the UWP government under Alan Chasney did to really advance that interest of the common people. That is a very important question that needs to be as we go around. In my own view, my brothers, is that the postures of the UWP from history as it was, and now, in my mind, is to keep the interests of the common people down as far as the interests of what I call, I don't know, the aristocrats and this is what the battle is about. Right? Yes. I believe there are individuals in the system who go all the way to really keep the interests of the common people down, and they have reasons for really doing that. Okay, my brother? Yeah. Okay. So therefore, there is something we really need to check. You raised the question about the diplomat. I have said on the fellows program earlier on in Creole, I don't know who answered. I believe it was the disgrace for the comrade. I believe he's very educated to come and think the Bolam thing. But I think both you and Jaim and them fellas, they have to replay the thing. During the last election campaign, how Alan Chasney was posing to be prime minister, came on a platform, I don't know where it was, whatever it was in Deriso, with a long white gall, a candle in his hand, and what seemed like a baby in his hand. What's that? It was Zin, comrade. And the man is putting that on the minds of the people about the Bolom thing. It was Zin. I believe, I don't know, I may be wrong, when Chasney went in the, what is that? The Viewfort thing, the hospital thing, we have to be careful whether it was not Zin, he was really spreading other things or other thing. So some decisive thing. Thank you very much. I'm very excited on that, but I apologize, okay?
All right, my brother.
All right, thank you.
I'll put it live on the show for you.
Yeah, we got a message from Skinny. Bro, I just dropped chicken. You guys, it's in Nigel's office. Your co-host met me in town and was requesting chicken. Nigel, so you got yours already, Nigel?
No, I don't know
Remember, he told me Nigel, same story. Well, Nigel, look, have mine now. I'm because of my, my kind of self-imposed dietary restrictions because of the size and all that. I don't. It's going down, so I want to keep it that way.
Well, you'll become the swing then.
So the other one will be Jaquanzo. I don't know if they all have the same thing, and it'll be all thanks to Skinny. Okay. All right.
Skinny was a parent, he had a student there. I met him yesterday. I said,
okay.
So Skinny man, you're not dropping chicken for us,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I responded. Thank you. So unexpected.
We have a caller. We have two callers on the line. Hi, caller. Real issues. You're on the air. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. How you doing?
I'm not too bad, thanks.
You don't sound animated. You do not sound animated enough.
Well, hello.
How can you be an animator and you're not sounding animated?
I'm feeling a little disappointed.
Yes.
All right.
And here's why.
Uh-huh.
I see you dress up in a suit. I know if you're getting married. And I see Terry have a white shirt. I don't know if he's the baseman.
No, it's blue.
It's a very white blue. It's a very simple thing. Somebody asked me. I didn't feel like putting on a tie today. You understand? So I decided to leave the tie out and just compensate by throwing a jacket over the shirt. That's all there is to it. I just didn't feel like cravating myself today.
So you didn't want to have a tie up today. But anyhow, let me tell. Terry, let me ask you.
Yes.
In your capacity as a former principal.
Yes.
What is the difference between registration fees and facilities fees? Please? That's important.
Yeah. For example, can I answer now? Yeah.
Yes, you can answer me.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. You answer me after. Let me make my point and then cut off so that other people can get the line. Last night was a wonderful crowd.
Yeah.
I cannot yet find the adjective to describe it. Wonderful is minor. But like the caller said, or whichever one of you said, I find it odd that we only see right the wrongs, and whoever is speaking the nonsense and they're speaking from the right the wrongs thingy, and we hear an AI generated crowd. They never show us the number of people who are there. But when it is the Labour Party activity, we see everybody that's there. In fact, not even everybody, because the people by the road were not shown. So, Terry, don't forget to answer my question. And if I have further queries, I will call again tomorrow or whatever. Bye-bye.
Okay, once I get a break in transmission.
All right.
You have a break there?
No, we don't have any.
You have a caller?
Okay,
no.
Do we have another call on the line? We had
my
two
word.
callers waiting. Yeah. Hi, caller.
Hello?
Real Issues. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, yes. Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon.
I just wanted to make a comment on what Terry said about universal primary education. I think that the primary education phenomenon was really by the Catholic Church, which allowed people from all walks of life to enter their schools because they had the majority of the schools. So I do not think that it was Sir John Compton who actually introduced universal primary education. If anything, the only government introduction or input into primary education was actually made by George Charles when the government itself opened two schools, one at La Clery, the La Clery School in Vide-Bouteille there, and the other one at Auger in Vieux-Fort. These were the only two primary schools that government actually had built. So I just wanted for the record to indicate that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's great. You get
Alex, yes, definitely.
All
All right.
right.
You have a break now.
I have a break. Animator, the registration fees, most students in Form, well, not most, students in Form 1 entering for the first time would have to register, yes, pay a small fee. And they would be paying for things like the PE uniform, house T-shirt, record book, if they still have record books now. I know most people, we have gone digital. We are doing that. And other stuff like that. In other words, they get a package. Just as you're a cadet, you get your package. So the government won't pay for that. The parent coming in, you would pay for that. The facilities fees that was charged while using the school, etc., you would pay for that. So there's a difference. So students in Form 2, 3, 4, and 5 no longer will pay registration. Registration is done in Form 1, as far as I am aware. All right, as far as I knew. So you come in for the first time, you get your package, you get your PE uniform, you get your house T-shirt, you get your ID card, and the other things associated with you coming into the new school, which will entitle you to be represent them. So you have everything there, you pay for that. So the school would order everything, and then you would pay for that. That would be your registration. The facilities fees is the fee you pay for using the facilities for everything else. So in Form 2, 3, 4, and 5, you'd pay your, the government will be paying that. But in Form 1, well, they'll be paying facilities fee for you too, but you'll have to pay your registration because the goods that you get, the package that you get, the government is not paying for that. You as a parent have to pay for that. So as my granddaughter is going to Form 1, she will be getting a package, and that package has to be paid for. All right, but the facilities fees, that is what everybody pays for using the school and for other things. That is what the government is paying for. All right?
All right. We continue taking your calls. The mobile number on which you can WhatsApp call us is 758-487-9849. Don't forget that. 487-9849. And you can also call us on the local landline, which is 4533-911. All right? You can send us WhatsApp text messages by going to realfmofficial.com or to mbcslu.com. And on each of these websites, you will see a WhatsApp messaging link that you can click on, and you can type the messages, and they will come live in real time to our on-air message board that we can read. Okay? So I know many of you prefer the calling, but just letting you know. And you can also listen online to both Real FM Radio and NBC Television by the links that you will see on those websites. You're on the air, caller. Real Issues. Go ahead.
Shelton.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Shelton, it was good last night. Oh my God, I never read so. Yeah,
Say again.
It was good again. I never see red like that. I had a good time. Kenton Casimir supporter from Brazil. It was good.
Okay.
And I never see red like that.
Okay. Sean again was good again.
That's right. Kenton Casimir supporter from Brazil was in Denver last night.
Okay. All right.
Very good.
Thank you very much. It was an excellent even if it was short, but it was excellent presentation by Honorable Kenton Casimir as well. He was absolutely on fire. You know. Okay, we have another call on the line. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good day, gentlemen.
Good day.
Hi, good day to you.
Long time. I've been missing in action.
Okay. Why is that?
Oh, yes. I was all over the place. I traveled and...
Okay, all right. Good.
I've been keeping abreast if everything is happening.
Okay, you're always welcome anyway, so go ahead.
Yes, and I'm very impressed with Sean again.
Yes.
I wish I could have come to support him, but I met him at the graduation at Beaufort Compre, and I gave him my regards with the great work he's doing in education. And I mean, you could have clearly seen that how Sean is working on his love. The folks did not even want to come and say anything because everybody was so happy.
That's true. That registered with me too.
Yes. You see, at the other town halls, I mean, Lisa literally had to be asking people who want to come up. And I said, I wish I was there to go and say something. Yes. So I was very impressed with that. So I say Sean again and again, and let them know that PJP is boss. Who get vexed, lost.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, you as well. We have another caller waiting, I think. Hi, caller. Real Issues. You're on the air. Go ahead. Oops. Okay, that caller left. One who didn't have that long cable, you know, that they can go far in terms of waiting. But Terry,
and don't forget somebody just reminded me the $500 bursary. You know, that helps the parents, you know, especially those parents who cannot afford. That helps them, to help the child buy a proper shoe. A good pair of shoes, then it's 200 plus, you know. So that helps, man. That is, the government is doing that's the Labour Party philosophy, you know. Bread, freedom, justice, you know, and sharing of the pie. Shelton, you know, as social democrat, we'll discuss that. Yeah.
All right, as we take that call, let's big up the man Skinny. Say thanks to him.
Thank you, Skinny.
And to his madam, Jennifer, and all the staff and so on, hardworking people stay, through the night, going into the wee hours of the morning to make sure that everyone is satisfied and always remembering us. Caller, you're on the air. Real Issues, go ahead. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah. We need some of that CIP money to come down to Beaufort.
Okay, what in Beaufort you need the CIP money for?
Well, in the area there where we are in Larry Shoes, there are so many young employment men, women to clean around the area. I'm not talking maybe not even a step, but at least give us at least a little 2-week work. It could be $50, $60 a day. We'll accept it. Okay. The area there is so dirty. The council people are not coming to clean.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope those responsible that they're hearing, that they're listening. So you say some kind of short-term employment program is needed there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, my friend. Thank you very much. Any other things that you want to highlight?
Yeah, but I'm not seeing anything really happening in the South. I'm a strong SLP supporter, but.
Okay.
All right.
I need the authorities to get to know that and.
Do you know that Dr. Kenny Anthony is still the representative, is still the member of Parliament for Beaufort, for Larishus? So do you think you can ever get to have a word with him about that?
Well, okay, I'll try to see.
Yeah, try to see, because the fact that he said he's not contesting the next election, that he's retiring.
I know.
Until then, he's still the man, eh?
Yeah, but we need the help. We need the help because things are rough. We need the help down here.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, caller.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, do we have another caller? I think we do. Yes, okay, so let's take that other call straight away. Hi, good afternoon, Real Issues, you're on the air. Did your mouse freeze on
you? Well, while you're waiting, just let me say something I almost forgot. The book bursary program, remember that, Shelton?
Yes, of course.
We got a grant of $1 million US, I think, on the Labour Party, George Odlum.
Yes.
And so parents who couldn't afford books, you see them coming to the library, to the to the different centers that get the books brand new. The only condition, if they wanted more books, they had to return. To other schools. So all of that, the Labour Party instituted to ensure that our
we have
children
another caller waiting.
were well educated. Go ahead.
Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Real Issues.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sheldon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Brother Terry.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, this is Peter the Great. They're calling in from Canada.
All right.
All right. How you doing, my bro?
Yes, I am very fine, my brother.
Okay.
Because I want to commend the St. Lucia Labour Party of a work well done, well executed, my brother. Yeah, I think my TV was on. Hold on. Yes, last night I watched a beautiful town hall meeting in the valley. And I think St. Lucia, the ground is being prepared for the next general election. And Peter the Great cannot wait for the date to be announced so I could book my flight to come and support a good governance. So blessings on you, Terry, the good works that you all are doing, and keep on nourishing the land, the ground for the people. And letting them know and see exactly what is happening in St. Lucia.
Yes.
Okay? So job well done, and bravo to the government of St. Lucia. And don't forget the Team RF, Richard Frederick. Yeah, I know he was a little tired and sick, and I hope that he recovered quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Blessings upon you guys.
Thank you very much,
All
Peter.
right.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Always
Ciao.
nice hearing from you. We have another call on the line, and I think that will be our last one, Jaquan says.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. You're on the air. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to understand why people play games with the people's life.
Speak up a bit for me. I'm having a little
Why
difficult-
are people playing games with the loss of people's lives? I was listening to the news, and I'm listening to Mr. Guy Joseph comparing the time they were there and the time the people are there and how many lives. It's a whole, it's like a game, a competition. You have more people dead than us and even the former prime minister, traumatizing. You have to take a pause, just crying because how are people going to rationalize the death of their family and how it affected all kinds of nonsense. I mean, why are those people playing games? Don't let people realize it doesn't matter who was there or what yet happened. Lives were lost and families are hurting. So why are they playing all that games? During this people time, people were dying. I can tell you the number of women, even COVID, Good Friday, a woman was killing there in her home, they came together. All of those things. So why play games? During your time, I was not hearing you all. It's like everything was swept under the carpet because not even people that had talk shows that were in the table would want you to even call. They didn't want you to call and talk anything about crime. It was only good news. You were supposed to say, don't report crime. When women were dying, men would die, young boys, all kinds. But yet, now you want to play a game. This shows that you all didn't care. Look, a mother was shot in her home with 2 young children. Up to now, no justice for her. Another young girl was killed brutally during your time, all kinds of things. So why is it that you all didn't want people to speak crime? You all didn't want to talk, not at all. But now everything, instead of having a solution of how you're going to come together as a people, as politicians, because today or tomorrow you may be in power and you may even it may even be worse. And then what are you going to say when people start complaining? Come on, and it is sad to see that. And you have even supporters and things calling and making so much about it. Even sometimes you listen to headline
because
news.
the lotto will kick in at any time. All right. So thanks very much. I think we get your point. The less said sometimes I feel about Guy Joseph, the better. I will say that he sends shivers down my spine for the simple reason that he's just too mean-spirited for a man who's supposed to be pious for a man who's supposed to be Christian, who's supposed to have a certain benevolence about him and so on, originating from the spirit thing that he professes and so on. I just find there is a piercing kind of, I don't want to use the word that starts with E, but there is, honestly, there's a meanness about the guy that he tries to mask with a smile and a never-ending grin. But those of us who are perceptive enough, and I think most of us are, we can just sense that there is something, a malevolence which projects from this man in a very piercing way. Anyway, Terry, thanks very much once again. Thanks, Japan.
Yes, thanks for being here.
That's the real issues. Yeah, it's 1:59, so we got to wrap it up now. Thank you very much for having been a part of it. Don't know what Terry's commitments will be tomorrow, but if he comes, he knows he's always welcome. And until then, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday safely. And for The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, Shelton Daniel signing out.
Alrighty.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
The Big 4 Multi-X drone is 2X. Pick 2, 9-8. The Pick 2 Multi-X drone is FB. 1 off, 102. Lucky 3, 804. The Lucky 3 Multi-X drone is 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no